Of all the states in the Southeast, Georgia has the shortest coastline, but make no mistake, it's big on fishing. Hey, how y'all doing? I'm Captain Cephas McRae, and on today's Nuts and Bolts adventure, I'm running offshore with Captain Mark Noble from St. Simon's Island, Georgia. So sit back, but eat your Wheaties. We're going after the big ones on today's Nuts and Bolts adventure, and it's about to crank up right now.
Holy cow, another nice, good God,
Look at the
Cephas, what have
size
you
of
done?
that snapper. That is a Mac Daddy right there.
Well, I just had to drop one down just to prove to everybody that if as soon as your bait gets on the bottom, there's a fish on it. Holy cow.
This may be an Olympic sport, you never know. Here I got color with two fish right here.
Look at the color, look at the whole
Look at
box
them
coming up
dancing
with
down
them.
there.
Amberjacks, baby. Cephas.
This fish is going to England, I believe.
Oh, look
look
down. Well, watch the barracudas.
The barracuda
This is what the
just wore him
barracudas are
out.
doing to us. They're eating our fish up.
Yeah! Fish on, fish on, fish on. Oh, yeah! Wahoo! Oh, there we go. There it is. Beautiful. That is amazing. What a fish.
Oh yeah, nice fish.
Woo! Oh. That is a true full
That
redfish.
was fully grown.
Good grief! I've got two fish on the same plug. These are excellent fish. They're hard fighting. That fish has got some shoulders on him. What a fantastic way to end today. Today's Nuts and Bolts adventure is brought to you by Esca Lure Lights. Take the Esca challenge and become a better fisherman instantly or your money back. Light Force Performance Lighting, designed to deliver uncompromising performance in the most hostile conditions. Light Force Automotive and Marine Lights are built to go the distance. Whoop-Ass Fishing Tackle, the fish catchingest lures you'll ever throw. Hand-tied bucktail jigs in a variety of sizes and colors. Open up a can on them and catch more fish. This week, the Nuts and Bolts gang is back on the Georgia coast in an area known as the Golden Isles. Now, these barrier islands, including Sea Island, St. Simon's, Jekyll, and Cumberland Island, create an amazing tidal landscape that rivals any coastal destination. And the gold you'll find here is pure southern charm. There are a wealth of amenities from world-class resorts and golf courses to quaint shopping villages and restaurants serving fresh Georgia seafood and down-home cuisine. For anglers, this area is one of the best fisheries on the East Coast and offers year-round fishing opportunities both inshore and offshore. Today, I'm going on an offshore adventure with Captain Mark Noble and his good buddy Ernie Knight. Now, it wasn't too long ago that Captain Mark introduced me to one of the world's best tarpon fisheries, right off these islands. And to truly get a sense of what Georgia saltwater fishing is like, Mark and Ernie invited me to spend the day chasing big fish in the blue water off the Georgia coast. Now, our first mission was to catch bait, and when we arrived at the Navy Tower, someone must have just rung the dinner bell because big schools of bait were everywhere and the birds were having a field day.
All right, what we've done right here is we're at a Navy Tower just offshore Georgia out of St. Simon's Island. Many of these structures like this will hold bait. Now, we're looking for Spanish sardines, or we're looking for what we call hardheads. We get all of our bait caught, then we're gonna go bottom fishing, but these kind of structures right here using a sabiki rig, which is really just nothing more than a small fly with a gold hook in it, is the way to catch your bait out here around these Navy Towers. So load up on bait, get you 75, maybe even up to 200 baits, put them in the tank, and you're setting yourself up for a great day of bottom fishing. Oh yeah, baby. Right there is that surprise bite, just trying to bait. Looks like it's a bonehead, Ernie. It's a bonita. All right, that's a bonita right there, everyone. That right there, you just fired out a little live bait right there by the boat. He came in there and ate it. False albacore, or what we call a bonita. We'll let him go.
This fish came up the top.
Oh, look down. Well, watch the barracudas. This is what the
just wore him
barracudas
out.
are doing to us. They're eating our fish up.
Trust is a quality that's earned over time. Through our greatest triumphs and humble defeats. It's built on dependability, extraordinary strength, and true confidence. At the end of a long but epic day, trust is about being able to deliver on promises time after time. Built to last, made to work. Trust Scotty.
So you love to fish the salt. You love the sound of a screaming drag, battling with a bonefish, a cobia, or a tuna. It's in your blood. You don't go fishing, you go catching. And what makes you a saltwater Superman is ESCA. ESCA lure lights trigger natural predator instincts, so game fish bite hard and don't let go. And it's powered by saltwater. Yeah, that's high-tech fishing. Add an ESCA to your lure natural bait and catch more fish. We guarantee it. Get the light that makes fish bite. Get an ESCA.
This is amazing out here. Look at this. This is out here in the middle of this huge desert we call the Atlantic Ocean. There's this one Navy tower here, and it creates an entire oasis of life out here. This is where everything comes to. The barnacles grow on the pilings there. Then the bait fish come to eat that because not only is there food there, but there's protection and safety here. And then the big fish come in here. The migratory species run this corridor here. So you have kings, you'll have cobia along here. So, you know, while you're catching bait, go ahead and have somebody fishing. That first bait that comes in the water gets a hook and goes right back down. And usually, in a lot of cases, it's the biggest fish of the day.
There we go. You don't think that's not the real deal right there? I'll tell you what, that little bitty rod right there has got some pressure on that fish.
Have you seen color yet?
I have not seen color yet. If he keeps on pulling like that, I might see stars. There's color. Look like an AJ. Looks like there's a bunch of other AJs down there with him.
Looking to see. No, that is brown.
Big old red snapper.
That is red
Look
snapper,
at that red
baby.
snapper. But that right there is what happens when you fire a big old live bait down while you're catching bait. Now, in case y'all are wondering, I don't care what ocean you fish in. That is a big red snapper.
Hog.
That right there is what a lot of people, you know, sea fish, when you think about Georgia, a lot of people don't think about bottom fishing. But red snapper like this right here isn't that uncommon.
That is a toad. Now, although we were targeting grouper and amberjack, it was difficult to get a bait in the water without a red snapper pouncing on it. And of course, snapper were out of season. Now, it seems that the government officials who control what us recreational anglers can keep have come to believe there are no snapper left in the ocean to catch. so we vented the fish and revived it over the side. In the process, another herd of cudas showed up looking for a quick meal. However, this sneaky snapper ran the gauntlet and made it back down to the depths. While Captain Mark and I were chatting it up for the camera, Ernie was at the back of the boat quietly bringing in a respectable amberjack. This Navy tower was a smorgasbord of fish, and just about everything we caught was big. The key was to put your bait close to the tower without getting hung in the superstructure below. And if you could get your bait through the bevy of barracudas, it wouldn't be long before your rod bent double.
You ain't got a belt yet, Ernie? I know where it is.
Yeah!
And as it turned out, the next challenge was getting the fish past the cudas on the way back up.
Oh, look,
Bonita.
leave it down,
And
leave it down. Well, watch the barracudas.
The
This is
barracudas
what the
just wore him
barracudas are
out.
doing to it. They're eating our fish up. I mean, normally when they do that right there, they're all about eating. All right, Ernie's on. You on too, Cephas?
Yes, sir.
Pull back in here, drop two baits down and tight, double header. Double header, baby.
You know, this is fun, but when you come fishing with Captain Mark Noble, it's work too.
Ernie is really just concentrating so heavily back there on this fish. There's just this pure concentration on his
Ernie, I'm
face.
proud of you, man.
What do you think about that?
You've been the man today, Ernie. I'm here to tell you, buddy. You have been the man.
I am a man.
All right, we got color. All right,
And
got another jack. Look at the barracuda
look at the
behind him.
barracuda behind him, too. All right, I'm bringing him to you. Now, that one shook his head like a jack and turned out to be a jack.
Well, every time you drop down, you just really don't know what's coming next.
Awesome fish.
But that puts up a pretty good fight right there.
Yeah.
And you notice too, Cephas, that see how that leader's all chafed up?
Yep.
What we'll do is we'll just clip that
Time
back
to change.
off. Yeah, and retie.
Time to change. So Mark makes a very good point here, guys. Check your leader. Just feel it. Feel it where it stops, the chafing stops. About right there, we're gonna cut off and retie. Still got plenty of leader left. And right back down again. You guys stick around, there's a lot more nuts and bolts. Fishing fun here from the Atlantic Ocean right after this. Hey, how y'all doing? Captain Cephas here along with Buck the Wonder Dog with this week's Nuts and Bolts Pro Tip. Ain't that right, Buck? Now guys, here's one thing that I get a lot of emails about, and that is, how do you store your gear when you're getting ready to run from point A to point B? You got big lead weights on here. The last thing that you want to be doing is running, and I see this so many times, it makes me mad, because I'll see guys and their lead is stored up here, and that lead, as they're running, is bouncing against your rod blank. Now these high-tech graphite blanks, they just require just a slightest nick in the blank, and you get a big fish on, it'll snap your rod. It'll sound like a shotgun going off, and that's because this lead's been doing this for 30 minutes while you were running. Well, here's a way that doesn't require you to completely unrig everything and keeps your lead from banging against there. Wind your lead down to about even with the reel here, and then take one or two wraps of the leader, and then go back up to a guide, but just to the frame here, not through the eye, just on the guide there, on the guide frame. Then wind up with your line here, like that. So I got a couple of wraps around the reel of my leader. Now I can wind up, and look, my lead is down here, it's banging against the neoprene handle. It's not doing any damage, and actually that's a little bit on the close side there. So if I wind up a little more, there we go. Now it's neither banging up against my reel nor the rod blank. Anything that happens there is not going to hurt anything. You can put your rod down in the rod holder like that. The lead's not going to hit anybody in the head, and it's not going to damage your rod, and that's a Nuts and Bolts tip. Nuts and Bolts Pro Tips have been brought to you by Esca. Get the light that makes fish bite. With Esca, you'll catch more fish for your money back. Hey, how y'all doing? Captain Cephas and Buck the Wonder Dog here. You know, I've been telling you for years about the effectiveness and the versatility of whoop-ass bucktail jigs. The unique head design and premium bucktail gives these jigs an action so lifelike fish simply can't resist them. And Buck likes to pair them up with Project X scented swim baits for a combination that is deadly on both fresh and saltwater game fish. So get the jigs used by charter guides, tournament pros, and Buck the Wonder Dog. Whoop-ass jigs. Tie one on and hang on.
Trust is a quality that's earned over time, through our greatest triumphs and humble defeats. It's built on dependability, extraordinary strength, and true confidence. At the end of a long but epic day, trust is about being able to deliver on promises time after time. Built to last, made to work. Trust Scotty.
You know, whether you own a classic bass boat like this one or a 25-foot tournament monster, there never seems to be a handy place to keep a spare rod, some extra lures and pliers, or a cool beverage while you're fishing. Well, Spider King Rod Holders has the solution with modular rod holders, tackle trays, and cup holders mounted right on your boat seat. The heart of the system is our aluminum base plates that fit virtually any fishing chair or tournament seat. There's no holes to drill and they install in minutes. Spider King's modular components let you easily create your own configuration or choose one of our combo kits, including the new pole mount that slides over a tournament seat pedestal. Now you can switch rods in seconds or have a third hand when you're changing rigs. And with Spider King accessory trays and cup holders, you've got everything you need right by your side. Add convenience and versatility to your boat with Spider King. Order yours online at SpiderKingRodHolders.com. On this Nuts and Bolts adventure, I'm fishing 40 miles off the Georgia coast with Captain Mark Noble and his pal Ernie Knight.
When you got a tower like that sitting there, it's easy to find out where to fish.
Mark was right, because we enjoyed a steady bite of red snapper, amberjacks, and bonita, and to spice things up a bit, we had to deal with cantankerous cudas who wanted to taste test a few of our fish before we could get them in the boat.
Yeah, he's acting like he's got a fish on here again, Cephas. But you know, he's done that 2 or 3 times, acting like he had something, and then it turned into being nothing.
While I was watching Ernie wrestle another activated amberjack, my rod was nearly jerked out of my hands.
Cephas, what do you got?
I'm coming around to your side there. He decided to move over
All right,
this
I'm
side
gonna try
of
to
the
bring
rig.
you off that tower a little bit.
Yeah, I think this is a small one here, Mark. He is pulling drag and I've got it locked down. I'm just letting him have his head, Mark.
Do you feel like he's on that tower leg or at all?
No.
Well, get him, Cephas. You know, what you can really expect when you get around these structures and this baits here, if you rig properly, we fish a lot of fluorocarbon.
Right, sure.
And, you know, if the barracudas don't eat off everything that you're bringing up, I mean, you can just have a ball because you're going to get something that's going to pull.
Sure.
I mean, just,
sure.
It's a life-changing experience knowing you drop down and you're going to hook something that's almost going to snatch you off your feet.
That has put in a bend in this pole like this.
All right, I got color down there. You got red snapper.
Oh gosh.
Holy cow, another nice, good God,
Look at the
Cephas,
size
what have you
of
done?
that snapper. That is a Mac Daddy right there.
That right there, in case you're wondering what a
Holy
big
moly.
snapper looks like, that's a big
Gee whiz.
one. Now, Cephas, in case you're wondering, buddy, that
Woo!
is a big
Yeah.
Georgia red
Oh,
snapper.
come here, baby.
You can't hang on to them things. That's a big snapper.
Yeah,
And
just lip him there, Mark.
Oh yeah, look at the teeth when snapper.
Yeah.
Look at the teeth in these big snappers.
Oh yeah, you do not want to get your finger down
When
in
you
there.
start catching big red snappers, be very well aware that them teeth will absolutely ruin you. But Cephas, any ways you look at it, what do you think? Nuts and bolts fishing, baby?
Is a man right there.
All right,
that
baby.
is red snapper. Golly, that is awesome.
If you thought this adventure was a lot of fun, well, you'd be right. Now here's a way that you can come fish with me and the rest of the gang. It's the Nuts and Bolts Fishing Fest.
Oh yeah! Wahoo!
Oh, there we go. There it is.
Beautiful.
That is amazing.
What a fish!
Twice each year, we gather together at great destinations for a weekend of food, fun, and fishing.
That's what I'm talking about.
And if you don't have a boat, well, that's not a problem. We enlist the help of an elite group of charter guides from the area who know where the fish are and how to catch them.
Got him! Got him! Get him on!
That's what we came to do down here.
It was great.
Fishing is like the best thing ever.
The Nuts and Bolts Fishing Fest is fun for the entire family, and it's easy to come join in on the festivities. Just look for the registration forms on the Nuts and Bolts of Fishing website to find out where the next Fishing Fest will be. Now, this is one fishing trip you don't want to miss. I'll see you there.
We love Fishing Fest!
Now, out here, it's pretty desolate, with just a few Navy towers dotting the horizon. Below the surface, it's relatively featureless as well, except for an area known as the 40-mile bottom, where outcroppings and live bottom form miles of habitat for game fish.
Oh, geez, stay. Aha!
Barracuda?
Yep. I got that fish about 8 feet from the surface, and I saw a big brown flash come by. It's a barracuda. Took everything. Took fish, rig, hook, whole ball of wax. Time to go back in the shop and re-rig. And Mr. Cuda down there's got a belly full of my beeliner.
By lunchtime, we had grown weary of playing keep away from the schools of barracuda near the Navy Tower. So Captain Mark suggested we put some distance between us and the toothy critters.
Guys, we're gonna try another spot.
So we moved a few miles away to another spot in about 100 feet of water. And when we got there, the bottom machine was lit up.
Just pulled up here, plenty of live bottom. That's some real good marking right there. So beeliners, black sea bass, we put them down. We're probably gonna get hooked up immediately.
Now we've come off the rig where we were fishing with live bait. We moved over to a spot of live bottom, hard bottom down here. There's a coral reef down here and a lot of just hard rocks and places down there that attract fish. And we switched over to cut bait now, and same big sinker. Actually, it's the same rig, we just put cut bait on it. And water down here are gonna be black sea bass and snapper and amberjack and a little bit of everything. It's a smorgasbord here, and it's about 115 or 20 feet of water, so it takes a couple of seconds to get fish back to the boat. Let's see what this guy's gonna be. It feels a little sea bass-ish, and that is exactly what that guy is. He's got me all tangled up here. But a little sea bass like this will eat a bait that's almost as big as he is. Let me get that hook out. Come on here. There we go. Get rid of that. But that guy right there is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And there's hundreds of them down there. That's a small one. There's some monsters down here that are 3 or 4 or 5 pounds. And that's what we're after. Get back down there and tell them Captain Cephas and Captain Mark are here. We're ready to party.
This portion of the Nuts and Bolts of Fishing is brought to you by Project X Swim Baits, simply the best soft plastic baits around. Super scented, super charged, super secret. Tie one on and hang on.
Cephas, what are you doing back there with that jig?
I'll tell you what here, Mark. You know, I decided, just for the heck of it, instead of dropping down a natural bait, I would just try a bucktail jig for a few minutes. So I fired it down, bumped it a couple of times, and did what we call power reeling, which is drop it straight to the bottom, reel it back up as fast as you can for about 10 cranks, then drop it right back down again. And it didn't take but about 2 times doing that to catch that.
What kind of jig is that?
That is a genuine 2-ounce whoop-ass bucktail jig.
You're gonna have to leave me a few of them.
And I mean, you know, this looks like, quite frankly, it looks like the bait that they're eating down there. Drop it down, pop it a couple of times. That right there is the results. Mr. Reef Donkey right there on a jig. A lot of fun, guys. You got to get down here and do this. Gosh.
The 40-mile bottom off of St. Simons Island, Georgia was giving us all the fishing excitement we wanted, including double and triple hookups.
What you got, Cephas?
I tell you what, Mark, I'm gonna sleep good tonight, buddy.
Well, I tell you what, if you don't sleep good tonight, you're gonna be missing a wonderful opportunity.
Okay, sure, we'll do a little cockpit, the two-step here, the St. Simon's two-step.
Cephas, that right there made it a triple. I just had to drop one down just to prove to everybody that if as soon as your bait gets on the bottom, there's a fish on it. Holy cow.
All right, let's all get in sync here.
Let's all get in sync.
All get in sync. There we go. This may be an Olympic sport. You never know.
There's one of them.
Number one. Here I got color with two fish
Look
right
at
here.
the color. Look at the whole
Look at
bottom's
them
coming up
dancing
with
down
them.
there. Oh yes. Look at this fish. Big, beautiful amberjack. Mark, what an awesome day, buddy. I mean, it has been fish after fish after fish.
Well, look, if you're weak in the back, this is not the trip for you.
Right, yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you like catching bottom fish, you know, we got the diversity here that many bottom fishermen want to find. You know, red snappers, of course, the amberjacks, the beeliners, the black sea bass.
Well, if you haven't been to St. Simon's Island before, you don't know what you're missing. Come down here and give Captain Mark Noble a call. Spend a day offshore with him. Come have a big adventure on your own. I'm Captain Cephas McCray, and we'll see you next time on the Nuts and Bolts of Fishing. God, Mark, this is gorgeous, buddy.